You've heard it a million times, right? If humans evolved from apes, why are there still apes? It always sounds like this clever gotcha question, a real stumper. But the answer? Well, the answer changes everything about how you see our place in the world. So let's just dive right in. This is a question that pops up everywhere. And on the surface, it seems totally fair to ask. The only problem is it's built on a complete misunderstanding of how evolution actually works.
And there it is, the big one. It feels like a checkmate, doesn't it? Like you can just point to a chimpanzee in a zoo and say, see, Darwin was wrong. But here's the secret. The problem isn't the answer to this question. It's the question itself that's flawed.
Okay, so let's get straight to it. The answer is actually pretty simple, and it might just blow your mind a little. We didn't evolve from apes. We are apes.
See, when people ask that question, they're accidentally making a huge assumption. They're picturing us evolving from one of the ape species that's alive and kicking today, like a gorilla or a chimpanzee. And their second assumption, that we've somehow graduated from the ape category and become something totally different? Well, spoiler alert, both of those assumptions are completely wrong.
And this right here is the heart of the matter. Ape isn't just one animal. It's a huge biological family. It's a club that includes orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, and us, Homo sapiens. We're not separate from the apes, we're just another member of the family.
So, if we're apes, but we didn't come from the chimps we see today, then what's the deal? Where did we come from? Well, to figure that out, we have to travel way, way back in time to meet an ancestor we all have in common.
So many of us have this mental image of evolution as a straight line, a ladder. Hunched over ape slowly stands up and becomes a human. But that's not how it works at all. The reality is so much more interesting. It's a branching tree. Millions and millions of years ago, there was this one ancient ape species, and that species split. One branch went on to become modern chimps, and another branch went on to become, well, us. That means we're evolutionary cousins, not grandparents and grandchildren.
And this is exactly what the theory of evolution actually says. It never, ever claims that a chimpanzee will just turn into a person one day. It says that a long time ago, a single population of ancient apes diverged. One path led to us, another led to chimps. We're just two different successful branches growing from the exact same spot on the tree of life. Now, you might think this is all pretty modern stuff, something we only figured out with DNA testing. But what's really wild is that scientists had us pegged as apes long before anyone had even heard of evolution. I mean, just look at this timeline. We're talking about the 1700s, over a century before Darwin published On the Origin of Species. The guy who invented the system we use to classify life, Carolus Linnaeus, looked at our anatomy and said, yep, humans go in the ape group.
But here is the most incredible part. Linnaeus was a creationist. He wasn't trying to prove we evolved from anything. He was just a brilliant, objective observer. And when he looked at the physical evidence, he just couldn't find a logical reason to put humans in a separate box.
He actually wrote that. He basically said that if you write a biological definition for what an ape is, that definition has to include humans. There was simply no objective physical reason to separate us. He was just following the evidence, way back in the 18th century.
Okay, so let's wrap all this up. The biggest mental shift we have to make is to stop thinking about evolution as some kind of ladder of progress and start seeing it for what it truly is, this massive, beautiful, branching tree of life. So if you only take 3 things away from this, let them be these. 1, we are apes. That's our biological family. 2, we didn't come from modern chimpanzees. We simply share a very, very, very distinct grandparent species with them. And 3, it's a tree, not a ladder. There's no finish line in evolution.
And if you need a perfect analogy, here it is. Asking why are there still apes is the same thing as going to a family reunion, looking at your cousin, and asking, if we both came from the same grandma, why do you still exist? It sounds ridiculous, right? Of course it does. You're just different branches of the same family. It's the exact same logic with humans and other modern apes. So once we get past that old, flawed question, it frees us up to ask a much better one, a much more interesting one. If we are apes, then what is it about our particular branch on the family tree that makes us so unique? And that is a question worth exploring.